Hello, hello, hello. Hold on, I gotta switch this stock. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna give it a couple minutes for everybody to catch up here. We do have some updates, which is awesome. Hey, we do have some updates on Tennessee, on not Tennessee, Alabama. We've got hey Juju. Oh, thank you so much. We got some really great stuff happening. You can see my door is open. Look how dirty it is. It's okay. Hey Jackie. Hey. Oh. Totally. Hey, Mrs. Portland, Shalma. It's like drooled all over myself, y'all. It's a huge issue. Guys, not even kidding you. I just read a story last night about two men in Alabama, who stole a a police speed warning traffic signal trailer. Hey, Sandy. Hey, MJ's Life. Y'all, MJ's Life sends me a picture, an email, and it's like, "Hey, thought you would be interested," of somebody's socks and sandals last night. I was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard. Oh my goodness. It's just hilarious. But um but yeah, I don't know what's going on in Alabama, but I'm a little bit worried about their criminals there. It's a bit questionable. Okay, here we go. We got updates. Updates. It just came across my screen. Kids inside. Amber. No, they did not. So, on the news an hour ago, it would seem that in Indiana, they have found a vehicle that they are trying to determine in Indiana if it's linked to Casey and Vicky White. Now, the reason that they think that is this vehicle that they were found that, hey Mary, hey Raging Nightwolf, the vehicle that they found was actually was reported stolen right, hey Michelle K, right near where their Ford Edge was left on April 29th. So looking at the map, my guess is if they're not headed to, are you peppercorn? Oh goodness, stay inside. If they're not headed to someplace in particular, my guess is they're going for Canada. Um yeah. So this is interesting. So that would mean they ditched, if it is a link, so they are ditching vehicles left and right. If if this is the case. If this is the case and they've now ditched this vehicle in Indiana, oh man, who, like, they've got Indiana then Michigan, or they're going to New York maybe, to which Lord, try to blend in. At this point I don't know. What I did read too that's interesting is rebellious, what made them think that, well, that came across an hour ago, MJ's Life. They're still working to confirm. They have not announced the vehicle or anything like that yet. They think it's connected because this vehicle was stolen was reported stolen the day that their car would have gone missing, right um next to where they abandoned the other car. So on the 29th, it was reported stolen at the same time that they left their other car. Um, hey, Diana. Okay, awesome. So, I don't even know how long it would take to get to Indiana from Tennessee. I mean, it's wild. These people, we're going day 10 now, guys. Day 10. Now, the other case we're going to kind of try to, yes, it was stolen in Tennessee. We're going to do a little comparison. I mean, those criminals were on the run for three weeks. However, they did not have a vehicle. Couple things important to point out. Um, what they did, people that have come forward, news here said that they're getting help. Yep, that's what I was just gonna say, Sandy. So she has a lot more money. Right. So she has a lot more money. Couple things is we have to keep in mind that Vicky was with the convict. She worked there for 17 years. So she's made relationships with several different, ex-cons or whatever. So it's very possible they have ex-cons helping them on the outside. So these possibilities are huge because if that's the case, it's going to really even complicate things even more. In my mind, they've had, I believe they've had, like, they had a map of where they were going to ditch cars, is what I feel like. Um, as far as drug use, this is where it gets really, so this is where it gets really dangerous. Casey, the man, has a significant mental illness, which we probably figured out. Significant mental illness. If he's medicated in a controlled setting, then they said he's okay and he's not bad. If he's out of prison and unmedicated, he's unhinged and he will start to try to hey dippity do, he will try to self-medicate with, they said, meth and things like that, and in that case he becomes extremely dangerous. He was noted to have said that he could not survive in the outside. He personally said he would not be able to survive in an environment outside of prison. He also, they said, they believe he has, the mental illness he has is schizophrenia, which, I mean, this just became like so much more complicated as far as dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous enough, but we're talking mental illness, off medication. If you're on any medication for mental illness, going off those things cold turkey. No, either do I, Sandy. Is whew, is bad news. Um, They also said that in 2015, when he was actually arrested, he wanted to be killed by the police. So he did things, they said, like to egg them on to get them to shoot him. So, as people have said, I don't think that he's going back to prison. What scares me is that I don't think he's going to make it out. I will be surprised if she makes it out alive. Maybe she will. Um, I'm sure many of you heard of the Dannemora Clinton Correctional Escape. Now that was even more complicated because that was two, and we're gonna watch a little video on it. Two men engaged in a relationship with this one woman, and they like Shawshanked it out of there. I mean, they worked night after night for years building a hole and going through tunnels and all of this stuff to make it out. And when they finally got out, the only reason their plan didn't necessarily work was because this Joyce Mitchell panicked and she fled. She never showed up to pick them up. So she took off and ended up in the hospital with a panic attack. At the time, she was supposed to pick these guys up. So they ended up having to go on foot in the woods. They made it like 20 miles. When the last person was killed, was Casey Sweat, not Casey Sweat. David Sweat was killed. He was the last one. He was only a mile from the Canadian border when they actually caught up to him. But here's why I say all of this is because he ended up, this David Sweat, who is the mastermind behind it all, very much so. He was in prison for killing a police officer. The other guy, Richard Matt, was in prison for killing and dismembering his business partner with a hacksaw. All right, so another dangerous situation. What is interesting is that, like we've all called in this situation, when David got to a certain point, he felt Richard Matt was slowing him down and ditched him. So that is what my fear is going to be with these two people. Exactly, Juju. Exactly. So she's only been seeing him on medication. Like, maybe there's a possibility she thought that through and had some of that, collected or whatnot. But, she could only do that for so much. Um, before, yeah, don't forget to hit the like, please. Another interesting point. I've been researching this a lot. So, and somebody, I think MJ's life or somebody up here said Tennessee's about 5 to 6 hours from Indiana. So that actually makes me nervous because that could have been left there a long time ago. But Juju makes a very good point. She's only seen him on medication. She called, so we actually found out that she stayed at that Quality Inn for 2 nights before the escape, which tells me she was doing a lot of prep because there'd be no other reason. Also, before she escaped and got him out, she called her mom to check on her dog. I I don't know. So her mom claims she knows nothing. I probably think that's true. If her mom, I mean, she's what, 60, so her mom's probably older. Um, my guess is that she probably doesn't know anything else other than she called. Who knows the story that she made up to talk, to tell her mom. I don't know. The interesting part about, if we go back over to the Dannemora case, which there is a really great series on Hulu about that. Um, Joyce Mitchell is out of prison already. Like, she only got 7 years and is out back living with her husband again. However, she didn't help. She helped them with, bringing tools in and stuff, but she didn't actually drive the getaway car like Vicky is. Um, In my opinion, and I want to get Chat's opinion. In my opinion, I think that they had their stops planned out with ex-cons helping them. That seems to be what the police are really going for. Um, I think that, like Juju said, now she's only seen him on medication. I think he's going to go nuts. I don't think he's going back to prison. I think he wants to, he said he wants to die by police fire. I think he's going to do stuff, yeah, to be killed by there. I don't know yet. I can't I can't decide if I feel like he's gonna kill her or just leave her. I can't decide. What do y'all think? What's your opinions here? Because this just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Her mom didn't even know she was. Yeah, Stephanie, right? Her mom didn't even know she was retiring. Is what she told the cops. What are odds they'd be able to find it? Yeah, Amber, that's the thing. Yeah, well, right. I mean, that an ex-con could have stole it for them, very much so. Well, if you think about it, he will kill her. Yeah, no. So if we think about it, I one thing I'm forgetting is the amount of money she has. I mean, as an ex-con or whatever, or really, I mean, she could be offering 10 grand for somebody to steal a car for her, and that's, they'd take it. I think it was hey Vicky, I think it was planned, Jackie. I think they had it planned and lined up before this to where they were going to drop vehicles is what I think. What makes me nervous is what if these vehicles weren't a part of it? Maybe what if these are decoys? I don't believe they flew anywhere because somebody would have seen them. The problem is the amount of money they have. Like when those two escaped from New York, they had nothing. They had like beef jerky and Pop Tarts and a couple other things, but they didn't have money like she does. Yeah, Shalma. And they said she probably has way more money than we even know about because of the 90,000 is just from the house, but she had been saving for a really long time because she was very meticulous with money. Um they won't be able to get through the Canadian if they are planning to go to Canada, they won't be able to get through the Canadian border. It is. The Canadian border is pretty tough, and the only way they could is if they tried to pull a David Sweat and Richard Matt and walk across the border. But you're right, Sandy. They could be anywhere. I mean, you could definitely sense the marshal's frustration. Exactly, MJ's life. And so I'm doing research on the security measures and what is happening. This is the security measures aren't being taken or aren't getting any better. Like Richard Matt, and David Sweat. That's possible, Jackie. Something keeps telling me they got, yeah, possible, Stephanie. Right, MJ's life. Um, they said that like David Sweat got out of his bunk and put a dummy where you couldn't see flesh and got into the hall 80 times. He left into the pipes, so he could plan the escape 80 times. So when a security guard checks a cell, they're supposed to like make sure they see flesh. Well, this somehow 400 times these people should have been checked and no one ever checked them right. That was the New York one. If we go to this one, Vicky never ever should have been by herself. Like somebody should have said, I understand. Like her big excuse was she was the only one sworn officer with a gun. But the question at hand is, will there be some form of consequences? I saw this in the news. There be a consequence for the booking officer that was called in? Because we saw Vicky on the phone calling in around. Well, she calls in around 9 o'clock and says, "I'm coming to get him. I'm the only officer with a gun sworn in. I'm going to get him." So like the chain of command that messed up here, they said could go pretty deep. I mean, so that's another question because in the New York one there was also another officer involved. So did Vicky pay somebody inside too? Did she pay somebody inside to help him out? It's wild. I can't imagine these people are on the run. Oh, he's dangerous. Are on the run for 10 days with not being seen unless they had help. There's just no. But like my husband said, if you take our minivan and put our back seats down and stuff and lay back there with our tinted windows, you would never, like, no one would see him. And the other interesting part is there's no traffic stops. I wonder if there will be. I don't know, because like when those New York people escaped, um, there was traffic stops all over checking vehicles. But that could be the fact that they are so far away. They assume they're so far away that they don't even know where to start. I'm checking really quick for any update. He could be sentenced to death in a trial coming up and stabbed a woman. Um, the son was new say. Oh yeah, I know Juju drop. It was such a sad. Oh, no worries, Mrs. Portland. I know you're here. MJ's life, I looked at. Oh, is he dangerous? Oh, Shalma, so dangerous. So dangerous. Um, Shalma, just to catch you up really quick, he actually, they have said they believe he's got a schizophrenic diagnosis and that he is okay if he's in a controlled environment like prison with medication. So now he is out of his element with no medication. Cold turkey. Yeah, Stephanie, I think that so I didn't even think about that until I saw that he will be sentenced to death. I think so, Vicky, if he's found. I don't think he's going to go back alive. I don't think he's going to go back alive. Um the ex-con thing really makes sense because we also don't know how many relationships Vicky has had over the 17 years. Let me see if there's any updates here. Let's see. Vicky White update. because they like that Joyce Mitchell chick who helped had been known to have some relationships, several with inmates. There have been wow. I hope that reopening the yep, so Sandy, yep, that's right. So the 2008 killing of his ex-girlfriend that we talked about a little bit the other day, that was deemed that she took her life with a sawed-off shotgun with Casey in the house, is being reopened. I mean, if you've all ever seen a sawed-off shotgun, like, I don't know. I'm surprised it was ever ruled that because Stephanie, are they opening his brother's case? I hadn't heard that yet. I wondered. Well, there's got to be ex-cons helping them because there is no other way that they would get. I don't see why they would go that direction. I don't. Me too, bless Lulu. But I gotta be honest, Juju made a very, very good point that she's only seen him on medication. Um, she would not be able to get him enough medication for a very long time. There's no way. Because I also looked and I Love Derp isn't here, but um oh, money maybe. They only allow a certain amount of medication within the prison, I guess. And then, like each month they um and yeah, the thing is she's got so much money. Yeah, no missing persons. I don't know. Her mom is adamant that he manipulated her, but I think that as a mom, I don't know, working inside. Um, let's see. Her mom is devastated, obviously. Tyson Johnson, yeah, said that she is smart and cunning. She will never be found. She is calculated enough that she has thought this entire thing through, and she has outsmarted and will outsmart the sheriffs. So the gun, Vicky, that the gun that they have, um, the gun that they have now, they have multiple shotguns and an AR-15. A sawed-off shotgun is a very like large gun, just cut, but it would still be very hard to to take your life with a sawed-off shotgun. Very much so. And Amber, like the girl's sister said, how she was shot, it would be very hard to be self-inflicted. Um, oh, I wanted to read to you what they said about his schizophrenia because it was pretty like wild. All right. Oh, whoa. Okay. So listen to this. I hadn't read this article yet. Um, when he's on when so this is Bryant, one of the cops. No, Bryant, Dale Bryant. He was I wonder if Eric, yeah, you know what, Peppercorn? Somebody else said that as well. So this was Dale Bryant, his attorney from 2015 said his ex-client wanted to die after being arrested. He was trying to get the officers to shoot him, and that is his fear. This is the lawyer's fear how the situation is going to end. Casey may try to shoot the cops to try and get them to shoot them. I want to say in his interview after his arrest and in my conversations with him, he wanted to die that day. It goes on to he says that that Casey suffers from a mental illness. When he's on medication and in a supervised environment, he's a decent person. When he gets out of incarceration, he is unable to stay on his medication and he even self medicates by smoking methamphetamine or taking illegal substances. The lawyer said that Casey White himself once admitted that he cannot function outside a prison environment. He couldn't recall the murder suspect's exact mental illness diagnosis, but believes he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. White once this right here. White once developed a close relationship with jail workers in a different Alabama county long before he allegedly escaped prison and went on the run with a former jail guard. Rick Singleton, the sheriff, called their relationship a jailhouse romance. Whoa. So this isn't his first woman in jail, his first officer. That's crazy. Tia Dash, yeah, no issue, no problem. It's pretty crazy. Found a car. Yep, exactly, peppercorn. Sandy, that's the thing. That's why they think that probably somebody is helping them for sure. Another good point, Amber. Somebody's probably driving. But if this wasn't his first relationship in prison, I mean, he's only been there since 2015. I mean, I would like to know what that woman has to say. The other guard that he had, or whoever he had a relationship with there, did he try to get her to do this plan? I mean, it's just crazy. Was he just simply preying on like emotionally wounded guards? Tia, they are starting to think because of the fact that Vicky has been there for 17 years and he's been there for 5 years, that there's so many ex-cons that are out now that they've known, could have made friendships with that are probably now they're thinking that they might be getting help from them. Yeah. Yeah, so she was like joined the survivalist groups MJ's life had said on Facebook and I think has been prepping, but again, with that much money, I mean they're not gonna run out anytime soon. Cause I mean, I don't think they're living, you know. Yeah, Tia, I know because he is not like he's got to be I think he's a sweet talker. I'm sure that I mean Vicky was, widowed, no children, probably pretty lonely. Um, they did show some updated pictures of what she looks like. She's 20 years older than he is. Um, that's what I don't know, Jackie. I think that, and I wanted to check with I Love Durf, is how much medicine the prison has on hand. A prison typically has on hand. Like, would it be a couple months worth? Because we haven't heard yet that they have MJ's life that anything was stolen out of the jail. So there's no way he's surviving. Like when you go off of that stuff, that medication, cold turkey, it's not just like you go off of it and go like nuts and like you do, but you also have a lot of physical reactions as well. Tia, go ahead, shoot. Yeah, he's not going to be in good shape. He's going to be coming down off of those awful, which means he probably is self-medicating with drugs. It's a lethal combination. I'm waiting for Tia's question here. Especially, schizophrenia type drugs. Do we think he has kept No, Tia, that's not an awful question. That's a great question. Um, I don't know, I go back and forth. Some in here say that he's already probably got rid of her. I don't know, I can't. Yeah, either do I, Sandy. I can't decide what I think. Um, I think she might still be in live only because I think she's the one that has made the connections on the outside because she'd be the only one that could. Um, but I think that he'll get rid of her soon. I don't think he was I mean, if he's already had a relationship in prison, it sounds like he works his way around. I don't think he's maybe he is head over heels in love with this chick. I think he's probably a sweet talker, found a woman that he can manipulate, and from my understanding, they call her like Vicky, tricky Vicky, that she lives like a double life. They have said that she is not, like her mom and her friends and higher up in the prison. Yeah, she's great, all this stuff. But people who actually worked with her day in and day out said she is not the type, she is not this great person everyone thinks, that she's very calculated and smart. Yeah, Tia. I think if he's off his meds, he might do something drastic. What I wonder if he's going to do something to her if they get caught to be shot, because clearly that's what he wants. He has said he's not going back to prison. I mean, they said when he was at the mobile home or something, he was like doing things to egg the cops on to shoot him because he didn't want to go back to prison. I mean, it's a very dangerous situation. They have got to find out where these people are. And I did read an article that like the US Marshals are super frustrated with, well, the sheriff's department, the jail itself. I mean, they essentially just lost these people. Sandy, so that's the other reason I think she might still be alive is that she knows the ropes and how to not get caught. It's interesting. So when they ditched that Tennessee vehicle only 6 hours after they escaped, they found her radio in there, her radio, her jail keys, and handcuffs. But what's interesting about the radio is I would have thought she would have kept the radio, to be able to hear on it or whatnot. Because isn't that, unless like, wouldn't she have wanted to hold on to that? I don't know. Unless somebody that helped them has a radio. Thanks. I'm trying to do it because I'm sick of the drama, and when you actually dig into these cases, it's a lot of fun. And I had missed it a lot. Maybe it was a ploy, you get a scanner anywhere. True. So my question about the scanner, wait a minute. So the scanner, because when something big happens, like when we were like listening to the what in the world to the Brian Laundry case and whatnot, that's what I wondered, Amber. But remember, like when things would go down, we'd start to hear something and about helicopters and stuff, but then it would change to a channel, like the police would change the channel, so that civilians couldn't hear that. So if she has a scanner, she would probably know what channels to go to and stuff, is my thought. I think he needs her for now. I think he will kill her. I do. Oh, okay, peppercorn. I think that he is smart because when you track back and you think about it, like we talked about before, he could throw her under the bus completely. He could say she kidnapped him. He could kill her and say that he did it in self-defense because she was kidnapped. Like, this is insane. He could say that, y'all, and they have to prove that that's not true. I just figured that out. When I talk it through with you guys, it's like I'm like, "Oh my goodness. He could kill her, get caught, and say that it was self-defense and that she kidnapped him, and the prosecution would have to prove that that wasn't the case." He left in cuffs. He left in cuffs and her gun. Oh my gosh. He left knowing that either way, he was probably going to be okay. That actually scares me more. Shelma, I hope they're found. At this point, they could be anywhere. He left with nothing to lose at all. Yep, exactly. Case discussion. But if she's as smart as people are saying, she didn't see this playing out this way? Okay, let's be the devil advocate. On the other side of things, how do y'all think that she can play her defense? Say something happens to him. Okay, MJ's life. That's what I was just going to ask. How do we think then? Exactly, Jackie. How do we think that she could do the vice versa thing? He would overpower. Oh my goodness, these guys could get away with it. They could be caught and get away with it. So one is going to end up dead. That's my theory. Yes, he left with nothing to lose and she gave up everything. Oh, I'm glad you got to talk to her, Mrs. P, because that is what I know, Sandy, but that is what David Sweat tried to do, to say was that Richard Matt bullied him into blah 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 blah. But their plan got so messed up by this Joyce Mitchell chick bailing on them at the last minute that it didn't really work out because they found the tools in Sweat's room and all this stuff. But he tried to use that too. So all they have to do is basically they can set each other up. She's going to be a lot harder to have a defense than it will be for him, even though he's super tall, and it would be easy for him to overpower her. She had the gun. Wow. Wow. Yes, that's what I heard, Stephanie. That's what I heard. It's really surprising because only one news source has come out with that right now. But yeah, when people are like, well, it's just like escape convict case, they're going to be caught. I think this is a lot further and a lot deeper than just an escape convict case. She does, well, when she left, she had the gun on her hip. Um, the interesting part is, though, they know that they have many shotguns and handguns, and they believe in AR-15. So, I mean, I don't think police carry those just randomly. So they must have knowledge from somebody that these exactly, Tia Dash. I got that Joyce Mitchell from the video up right now if y'all want to watch it. It's like 5 minutes, but it's basically talks. It's from her perspective as as a guard, how she fell in love with these two men. Um, but yeah, it's here. I'll turn that video on. So this is that Dannemora case I've talked about, very similar to this case. All right, let me share my screen here and get it pulled up. It's pretty interesting. Yes, she was assistant director, MJ's life.
We're back now at 7:42 with more of our exclusive and emotional interview with Joyce Mitchell, the woman at the center of this summer's prison break in upstate New York. We want to warn you that this part of our conversation does get a bit graphic. Richard Matt was a talented artist,
This
and it
does
wasn't
get
long
graphic,
before
y'all.
his artwork became a kind of currency behind those prison walls. We now know that correction officer Gene Palmer accepted and transported the paintings outside the prison, and the trading that went into that transaction led to trouble. It was how Mitchell was able to get the tools hidden in hamburger
Ah,
meat delivered to the inmates. So you walked right in the prison. Nobody checked your bag.
Nobody checked.
In it, you
no, Kelly, this is 6
had
years ago.
hacksaw
Sorry,
blades.
y'all, it's
Yes.
lagging a little
You're
bit.
in deep trouble at this point.
Yes, I am.
You didn't go to anyone.
Who could I tell? He bragged about how he had done paintings for several officers. Who they are, I don't know, but who could I trust?
I've never been in prison, but I will tell you, if I were you, I think I would have said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to get my husband. I'm going to get him in a car, and we're going to go to the police, and I'm going to tell the police with my husband next to me, so I know nobody can harm him, exactly what's going on here.
I should have done that, but I was too scared because Mr. Matt even asked where my mother lived, where my son lived.
Speculation has run rampant, Joyce, that while Mr. Matt told you he loved you, that by this point you loved him as well.
No.
Yeah, right.
It started out as a flirtation thing, but that's all it ever was. There was never any love between myself and Mr. Matt.
At some point, in addition to bringing food and now starting to bring the tools they would eventually use to break out of prison, there was sexual contact between you and Richard Matt.
There was never any actual sexual intercourse.
That has
Mr.
been open
Matt
to debate.
had grabbed me a couple times and kissed me. And then there was one point where he had sorry. He wanted me to
Would you like a tissue?
Wow, Sandy. I did, Tia.
he wanted me to perform oral sex on him. And I said no. And when I said no, he grabbed my head and pushed me down.
So, just to be clear, at no point in this relationship with Richard Matt was there any, in
Oh,
your
no worries,
opinion,
Tia.
consensual sexual contact between the two of you?
There was never any consensual.
And then there was David Sweat. There were questions raised as far back as 2013 about whether Joyce Mitchell and Sweat had an inappropriate relationship. So there was no sexual contact between you and
No.
David Sweat in 2013.
There was never any sexual contact between us whatsoever.
If you can, to the best of your ability, Mrs. Mitchell, tell me the complete list of things that you gave them.
I give them the star bit, 4 full-size hack blades, and I give them chisel, and punch. That's all that I give them.
It's a lot.
It is.
So you'd go in during the day, and you'd see at least Mr. Matt in the tailor shop.
Yes.
And he would say to you, hey, we've breached the wall of our cell. We got out of the wall. We're back in the crawl. He would let you know this?
Yes. He actually had told me at one point in one spot that they had found a toolbox and Mr. Sweat picked the lock and they found power tools in it.
And what was your reaction when you were hearing these stories? Wasn't it also astonishing to you that they were actually getting out of their cells at night and they were going behind the walls of the prison?
They were waiting till after, I think it's the 11 o'clock bed check, and then they would go.
You know, I'm trying to put myself in the position of someone watching this at home, and they're all saying, you know what they're saying. She's hearing these stories every day. She's given them some of the tools they're using.
And she's the monster.
And she did nothing to stop it.
I knew I was in way over my head. So I had to keep going with whatever they were saying.
And that is, I mean, the thing that, there were many opportunities throughout.
Whew. So that's a little bit about the Joyce Meyer. You'll have to definitely look that up, y'all, and we'll talk more about that. But I'm reading here now. I was just no update on the car other than they're still looking into what if it's in connection. But I was reading Vicky's husband. So Vicky's husband, it said they were married. He just passed away in January at 62, following a battle with Parkinson's disease. It said that they were married for just over 4 years, but they separated 16 years ago when Tommy developed a serious drug addiction. However, despite their separation, Francis and Vicky remained close up until his death. But the mother-in-law worries about the daughter's safety. Wow. So she has actually said, obviously called for her to. It is. There's so that is interesting if he died in January. But it does sound like they really didn't have much of a relationship beyond, they've been separated for 16 years. Um, the drug thing is interesting. Hmm. Officials believe Vicky White may be pushing Casey White. Oh, pushing him in a wheelchair. Okay. I don't know because I feel like now everybody's going to be looking for a wheelchair. I feel really bad for everybody in a wheelchair that's over 6 foot tall that wears socks and sandals. I don't know. Yeah, this case is it's kind of blown my mind. I can't stop looking up, and every time I keep looking for info, I just. So this will be my last question. Do you guys think they're north or south? That they've gone north? They're really going up Indiana in that direction, or it's all decoys and they're south? Just curious what y'all think. Yeah, me too. It will be because I don't think that I think this has been planned quite a while. So I think they're man, they're so far. They could be so far gone. You think so, Stephanie? That was my thought, but Canada is really hard to get into right now with COVID, and you have to have to the best of my knowledge, you have to have your which we know people make vaccination cards, but you have to It's pretty difficult. So the only way they could really get into Canada is they could walk through the woods, which is what those two in New York do. I know, Jackie. I was like, all right, that's getting a little too close to comfort for me. Exactly 71 kjc. I don't. They could if they walked, but it's so or yeah, got a boat. Um, because well now Lake Ontario goes into Canada. So yeah, I mean a boat, but yeah, you're probably right, Tia. I mean, I'm sure they've checked. I don't know. Wouldn't it be wild if she killed him? That would be insane because that's not what I predict happening. But like, I don't think either of them is gonna get out alive, I guess. But I think that it's not gonna end pretty. I mean, when he almost got caught, when he was getting caught in 2015, remember, up until he got caught, he went on a massive crime spree trying to hijack vehicle after vehicle and ended up on like a high-speed chase. So when he goes out, it's what terrifies me the most, yeah, Vicky, me too, is the lack of medication for somebody with schizophrenia is I mean for somebody with any mental disorder, but then somebody with schizophrenia who tries to self-medicate with drugs. Oh, only across in a boat in Canada's a lot like travel. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, listen, y'all. That's pretty much what we've got on that today. But you should look up if you haven't already. Look up Dannemora, guys. It's a really great case. There's a lot of similarities, but I'm gonna keep digging into the psychology. Feel like I'm gonna research a little bit his brother's case. Um, I'm gonna research the girlfriend's case because I think these are now being reopened. So this is a very deep case. So, um, and hopefully we'll get some more updates today. I'll go live again if they come out with an update or a press conference on this car that they found. But y'all have a really great day. Thanks for chilling with me and we will let's just hope none of us find him. All right, guys. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.